Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another glorious episode of I Quit My Band. My name is Nate.
I'm JJ.
Evan.
And we thank you for being here, as always.
What is this?
I don't know. I'm just, I'm trying to do a better job.
Yeah.
If we were a company, which of us would be HR, you think?
You.
Me? Yeah, you for
100%.
sure.
I'm the biggest narc here,
Yeah,
for sure.
it is going to be.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Glad we got
I'd
that
be
out
the
in the open.
janitor with a criminal record.
Mhm.
And, Nate
What would I
be...
be?
The
You're like
C-
middle management. You
Yeah.
got up there.
Yeah, I have the badge on,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
still report to somebody
Yes.
who has so much more power over
But you
me.
like really flex the badge.
Yeah, I
thing.
really
But
make
in like
sure.
passive-aggressive
Yeah.
ways.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those. Hey, guys. Come on.
Hey, why don't we why don't we tone it down?
It's Q4.
Yeah.
Okay? It's Q4. I am
If you can't
noticing.
tell, all of us work office
Yeah,
jobs.
we do. And that's how it is. I am noticing one thing that is happening with this podcast, that my laugh is becoming more and more like Newman from
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld, but particularly his laugh in Jurassic Park,
Oh, okay.
where he's like, he does that like seal, like
Yeah.
he turns into like a fucking bird. You know that
A
little
little
laugh?
bit. A
Like,
little bit.
like,
Yeah.
That's how my laugh is becoming.
Whoa.
And
Yeah.
I don't love it.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
I'm
dude.
trying to.
I
work in
like
a
that
more
for you.
natural-
In fact, I hope you die like that,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I hope you get spit tar
Yeah.
on by some sort of prehistoric animal.
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
are deceptive.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But anyway, welcome back to I Quit My Band. Today we're not doing a regular episode. We're going to be doing a review of an album that we've been looking forward to big time this year, and that is the new Danny Brown album, Quaranta.
Quaranta. Wow.
That's the
dude.
new Danny Brown album, Quaranta.
He had a
Okay.
stroke in the middle of
Yeah.
saying that word.
It's called Quaranta.
I have had a hard time saying it.
Yeah,
Quaranta.
Even though Siri says it for you at the beginning of the album.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, a couple
Quaranta.
times, yeah.
It's Italian
Um,
for 40.
It is Italian for 40. Little background, if you're not familiar with Danny Brown, he's a legendary at this point, I think, Detroit rapper. This is his, what album? He's had
His
quite a
40th.
few. Not his 40th.
7th album?
Yeah, it's his 7th album.
If you count Triple X, which some people call like a mixtape.
It was like a mixtape, yeah. But I would count Triple X. This is coming off of his last record, You Know What I'm Saying, which came out a couple years ago. He's had quite, like, the thing I noticed about Danny Brown is that he does something, like, sort of just slightly different with each record. Like, he kind of has a different vibe, different presentation with each record. A lot of people found out about him through Atrocity Exhibition, which came out in 2019. Everyone loved that record. Very dark.
Not 2019, 2016.
2016, never mind.
Flip the 9 upside down.
Yeah, I think You Know What I'm Saying was
It was
probably
2019,
2019. Yeah. Atrocity Exhibition is very, like, dark, weird, sort of, I don't know. It's just a weird record.
Yeah, it's noisy. It's like ugly.
It's very ugly, very dark, and like depressing. There's some bangers off of it, but
Yeah,
mostly,
really, though.
yeah,
Great.
yeah.
I love that line that Earl Sweatshirt has. Like, I'm at your house saying, well, you got your couch on my chucks.
Yeah,
That's such a good line.
That's a great line. Yeah, there was other songs on that are great. Ain't It Funny?
Ain't It Funny? So
Ain't It
good.
Funny is awesome. When It Rain, I got like really obsessed with that song when it came
Pneumonia
out.
is really good.
Yeah, it's sort of Atrocity Exhibition is sort of like, it's sort of cliche for guys like us to like hear that album and then get real into Danny Brown, which is what I did.
Well, I like
Why?
It's just like it's an album for like rock guys
Oh.
to hear like a rap album and be like, this is my new favorite
Oh.
guy.
It has kind of like a music nerd.
It has a music
quality.
nerd
I
quality.
should check that out.
But I
yeah.
really do like. I like Old and Triple X a lot.
Old
Which are-
is fantastic.
Old's really good.
Yeah.
Old is like kind of him. It felt like the stuff that people liked on Triple X. He
Yeah.
like just leaned into heavier.
Yeah.
You got like Smoking and Drinking, which is unbelievable.
One of the best
song.
songs ever. Yeah.
I've been sober for 5 years, and I just want to get drunk and drive my car into fucking wall after I hear that song.
Yeah, that was big in my era of being like a dumb drunk kid.
Yeah.
Like I would just go to parties, put it on. People are like, "What is this?" And it's just me losing my mind. As a matter of fact,
$25 is on there with Purity Ring.
$25, mama, braid your hair. Yeah, this song is so good, dude. Yeah, you can't beat this. Yeah. And what a string of songs of a string of 3 songs in this album: Dip, Smoking and Drinking, and Break It.
So good.
All just back to back. He had a lot of bangers off of this record, and then like with Atrocity, went more low key, more weird. Weren't as many bangers off that record. You know what I'm saying? What did you think about that record?
I didn't like it as much as some of the other ones. It felt kind of slight.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I don't know, kind of just forgettable. It didn't have the bangers, I would say. Some of the tracks were really
some
good.
of it is good. I mean, I don't think it's a bad album.
Yeah.
But I think coming off of Atrocity, it felt like... Because I think it's a lot shorter, too. It's only like 40 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long either. And he did like a different kind of presentation. Atrocity Exhibition kind of painted him as like this kind of twisted character. You know what I'm saying? Was kind of like he was doing like a TV personality type of thing.
Yeah.
It was, it had like humor to it, I think. That's another thing about his music that I really liked. He has a lot of like humor, like funny elements in his verses and his lyrics. But that's not really the case with his new record.
No.
The new record, I mean, it surprised me in a lot of ways. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect after the first single, but what was that? I didn't know what to expect after the first single, Tantor, and we talked about it on the show like 2 episodes ago, which is like a very staccato, weird kind of...
it has that looping guitar thing in it.
That looping, like,
yeah.
like that 007 guitar thing. Yeah. That just keeps going on and on. So I didn't know what to expect. I thought we were going to get another like very weird Atrocity Exhibition type of record, but...
Yeah, same thing when I heard Jenn's Terrific Vacation as a follow-up. It has like... I'd say out of like those 2 songs on the record sound the most similar to me, where they have that kind of strange, noisy, off-kilter production.
Yeah.
And he's rapping in the high, manic voice.
Yeah.
I was thinking we were going to get something like that, or that like some of JPEG Mafia had rubbed off on him during Scaring the Hose, and we would hear more of that kind of stuff on the record. But then I actually read that this was recorded well before Scaring the Hose.
Yeah, it was recorded, I think, maybe 2 years ago. I think
right during the quarantine.
Yeah. So like
that
the background.
Makes sense. I didn't know that.
Yeah, background in this record is so Quaranta stands for 40. Triple X is Roman numeral for 30. So this is the album that he made when he was 40 years old. And you can hear it in all the lyrics. Let's just jump into it. What do you say? Let's jump in. This is the first track, the title track.
Quaranta.
Yeah.
It's a cool opening track.
Yeah, what did you think about this record? Because you were not really familiar with Danny.
I know nothing. The first time I ever listened, besides the JPEG Mafia collab thing that came out earlier this year. My first time really listening to him. I'm really intrigued by that song that you played before this to listen to his older stuff, but I haven't. This one got me excited for kind of like a Portishead-y vibe with raps over it.
Yeah, I guess I could hear some like trip
or
hop.
like Krungbin.
Yeah. It is like a Krungbin instrumental almost. Yeah.
And I like this track.
Yeah.
I'll identify a running thing that I don't totally love just about this style of thing is like if there are hooks, they aren't like sung hooks.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And so this kind of rap hip hop gets lost on me a lot because I'm not usually just a straight bars guy. In this album, I mean, I'll save it for the end, but this album is a lot of just straight bars.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of differentiating between he has hooks in there.
There's refrains,
yeah,
I would call them.
There's refrains,
yeah,
but he doesn't do a lot to like make them stand out.
He doesn't sing, obviously. Yeah. I can't speak for his older stuff. Does he sing? on stuff.
Not really.
I wouldn't say so.
Like
No.
Tyler, the Creator, attempts to sing on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like an amazing singer. I would say that there aren't many rappers that are really good singers.
Yeah. I mean, he does a good job in his older stuff of having hooks that kind of pop more, especially with songs like Smoking and Drinking or like Break It or Dip. Like Dip is insane. Like dip, I'll dip, you do. Like that coming in like every time as the refrain is awesome.
I like this guitar line, and I think the vibe of this song is really cool. It's a cool way to open an album, and it sets the tone for everything else. Pretty well.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I didn't know what to expect from this record. I was expectations were similarly in that we were going to get something weird and manic again, and this kind of like was a nice like completely reset my expectations. To where I didn't know where it was going to go, but I was expecting something a little more somber, and hearing him, like the first track, he's using his low register voice, which he has used in the past.
Yeah, he has.
Like on that back end of Triple X's like DNA, and there's like a run of songs there.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I first heard Triple X, I'm like, oh, this guy just has like a regular good rap voice too. Like,
well, that's the thing. I mean, that's kind of why I got into Danny Brown, was because of his unique, like, quirky, wild style of rapping.
Yeah.
And then like on You Know What I'm Saying, and a couple of tracks off of Atrocity. I got into him with Atrocity, and I went backwards. But I did hear like Smoking and Drinking back when I was a kid. But yeah, like on You Know What I'm Saying, like Best Life, he has the more low key register, and I do like his low key register a lot.
it sounds more like normal. He kind of like forgoes some of the characteristics that make him so like identifiable and unique. But I think especially for what he's rapping about in that song and a lot of the album, it like makes sense.
Yeah, it only makes sense, and it makes everything so much more vulnerable sounding. Like some of the lines in this song I love, like, you know, rap. He says that rap saved his life, but it also like ruined his life.
Fucked it up at the same time.
That's
which
a running
is such
trend.
Yeah, and like it kind of goes back to what we've been talking about with bands and stuff, like bands and artists existing in this like 2023 post-pandemic landscape of just not being able to earn. And like, you know, he talks a lot about like thinking he knew it all back then, now he doesn't know anything, probably because back then he was he could make a career off of his music, and maybe now he doesn't feel that way.
How long has he been around for?
A long time.
Time.
When was
Triple X was, I think, 20.
I mean, if he's 40, then he's probably been putting out music for a while.
Hot Soup was his first record, and that was in 2008.
Okay.
I thought The Hybrid was his first record in 2010. But yeah, he's been doing it since 2008.
There wasn't really streaming music back in 2008.
Yeah.
You know, and
So,
that really fucked shit up for everybody.
Yeah, I think like Triple X was the one that kind of put him on people's radars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And similar to this, it's like he's always kind of, it seemed like, had like a preoccupation with his age. You know, like, you know, making the mixtape Name 30, and there's stuff about feeling like, you know, older than his contemporaries, maybe a step behind from where they are of, you know, because there's rappers that hit it big at like 21 years old.
Especially now. It could be like 16 years old.
And it's kind of cool to hear him like come back to that theme, and but his like reflection on it has changed over like another 10 years. When, you know, we look at it and we're like, oh, look how successful he is. But to him, it's like he probably still feels like he's a step behind the contemporaries. Yeah, probably.
And that you can hear that vulnerability and that kind of like that regret throughout all of this record. Like, like regretting like probably blowing up in the first place, which is really interesting topic.
That's wild.
Yeah. Let's move on. That's Quaranta. That's the title track. Let's move on to the second one, Tantor. We talked about this one already. I think I'm not really sure how to feel about this track in the whole like context of the record. I liked it initially more after like hearing it in the context of the record, but it is such an outlier. You know what I mean? Like he's doing his normal like wild delivery. The instrumental is has like no flow to it whatsoever.
It kind of annoys me after a while.
After a little bit, it can get pretty grating. There's not really a vibe on it, but I like how off the wall it is for a record that's relatively low key.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry. No, I kind of felt the opposite of you, where I had some of those feelings when I first heard it, but I really like it in the context of the record, as kind of like a palate cleanser. Like you get this like really moody introduction, and then we're gonna throw the weirdest song possible, and then I was like, I don't know what is going to happen next.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I do think that like those criticisms of the track overall are like valid.
Yeah.
Like the instrumental does become a bit tiresome after a while, but I think it is also like impressive that Danny is able to hold a track together in any way over this.
Right. It
shows how
true.
good of a rapper he is. That he can hear that, which sounds like kind of like noise.
Yeah.
And he's able to make something compelling by rapping over it.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
for me, like after I heard Jenn's Terrific Vacation as a single, and then I went back to this one, I was very excited for what the record would hold, and I think I would have liked it more on a more experimental record, because I do like the direction of it. It just feels like it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, not in a bad way or a good way. It's just like it feels like it belongs somewhere else, I guess.
Do you think it's a sample that's being looped, or it's like some sort like he's got to get some sample?
Yeah, I think it's Alchemist that did that.
Yeah.
Did
This
that
is
track.
definitely where JPEG kind of rubbed off on him.
Yeah.
Because like it kind of reminds me of that song "Perfect" off of
Where
Scaring the Hose.
It has that like NFL Films music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That song
that's
is
true.
so
it's
sick.
so sick. I love that. I don't hate this track. It just it sticks out to me. I don't know. I guess we'll keep going. Here's the next one. Ain't My Concern. I feel like this is Danny going very hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially at like other rappers.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool because you get this like the idea of him not feeling 100% secure in his place as a rapper and where he's at in his career, but it's also like feels very strongly about like what other people are doing.
Yeah.
You know, what the right way to do like rapping is.
And he's done that before. He's been critical of other rappers before. I think there's a song off Triple X called like Radio Song or something like that.
Yeah.
Where he goes after Wiz pretty hard.
Yeah. Black and
that's
yellow.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he calls out Black and Yellow.
Yeah, he calls that Black and Yellow. So yeah, it's giving more of an idea into like his psyche of what he's going through. Like probably feels like he's on a different level than other rappers and showcasing it on this song with like good bars, a good flow.
I love that line.
Yeah.
So is Booty Hole.
Yeah, I love too. Like, how far have we fallen from God that the booty hole is out in higher regard than the human soul? It's like going to St. Peter. It's like, your soul's going to hell. But where's my asshole?
We're taking your booty hole. Yeah.
Is it?
We're taking your soul and your ass.
And your booty hole. Yeah. But yeah, I love this one. I feel like he sounds fucking stone cold here.
Yeah.
I love that flow.
Yeah,
The
and
instrumental reminds me a lot of something off Atrocity Exhibition.
yeah, with that like twinkly, weird kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right about him probably feeling like he is in a league of his own, or at least that he puts different things into his records than a lot of his contemporaries do.
Yeah.
Like he's constantly trying to do something new or interesting or different, and I can imagine that's frustrating to not get the same level of like commercial appeal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, and also it's like it's a thing we talk about a lot jokingly about ourselves. Like the music we listen to, no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
And so that's like perfect example of the message that the Bobby Lees put out there recently of like, you know, this game is rigged against us.
Yeah.
Like, we're making shit that people like, but not enough people like it. So if I'm not, like, from Danny Brown's perspective, if I'm not Drake or Tyler the Creator or Kanye or whoever, I mean, Kanye's maybe a bad example now, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna
go anywhere.
I'm sure he's not hurting.
No, well,
But
You
that's
never
not
know,
the point.
really.
Yeah,
I mean,
you never really do know.
He could be. He has that podcast on like Segura's network now, like the Danny Brown show. I think he did talk on one episode about how like he's really struggling or something like that. There was some report about it.
Well, he talked about Atrocity Exhibition in like particular. I saw a clip of it where like he was like, I wish I could delete that album right now.
Oh, really?
He's
Did he
like,
say that?
he's like, I'm still in debt over that album. He's like, I spent $70,000. Yeah, he's like, I spent $70,000 in samples because it was the first time I ever had a budget for a record. They gave me $100,000, and he's like, I want it to be as good as I can make it. So I'm gonna spend all the money. He's like, a lot of rappers will spend a little bit of money and pocket the rest.
Yeah.
He's like, I wanted to put out the best thing that I could, and it
That's
sold
interesting.
7,000 in the first week.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm still in the red on that album. He's
Did
like,
it really sell 7,000?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy for
That's
an album that's like very regarded highly amongst critics. That's crazy.
That's that's perspective for you right
Yeah.
there. Like, if you ain't T Swift, if you ain't Beyonce, I mean, who cares?
And he's like, Danny Brown's a pretty like amongst guys like us. I think feels like he's a pretty household name. Like,
Yeah.
you probably know who Danny Brown is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of like hip hop heads obviously know who Danny Brown is. I mean, like, you know, he's had collabs with really big people. You know, like really knows like Kendrick and
Has
Earl
everyone
Sweatshirt
on that.
and,
yeah, that's a guy I left out. If you're not Kendrick or something like
Yeah.
that. But, like, I guess for a guy that's seen the way it was, I mean, not the way it was, like, 90s. But, like, the way that it was pre-streaming and pre-whatever we're in now. And now, I can understand the running trend of this album of, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing here? That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Let's move on. Dark Sword Angel is what this track is called. I feel like I need to like hear the instrumental for a second to remember.
It's very weird.
Yeah, this is
one's a
another.
cool one.
This is another one that sounds straight off of Atrocity.
Yeah, the mixing is really weird on this song.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. I like his flow and the lyrics a lot.
There's one note that gets hit in the loop that's sour. Not that
yeah,
one. That one.
that one. Yeah, the
Like
guitar
what?
sounds like it's out of tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's microtonal, dude.
It's a microtonal.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
brought in
King
King
Giz.
Giz.
That'd be
It's a
a
collab.
That'd be a
dude.
sick mashup.
yeah,
dude.
we did a sick collab with Danny Brown.
I'm working with King Gizzard.
I'm selling 24 different variations
Yeah.
of this
Yeah,
vinyl.
that's what he needs.
That's
he needs
what
to get
he
with
needs,
the.
dude.
He needs to get in there. Just put out 17 different types. Sell them to the guys that look
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make some money, Danny?
Yeah.
Hey, if you're listening,
Get linked
Do
up.
that.
Get linked up with Stu.
with Stu
exactly.
McKenzie,
Yeah.
I'll hook you up with
See,
14 different variations of
People
your
think
record.
we're just fun Australian guys that like to play prog music. We're actually cold-hearted capitalists.
from Australia.
All we want is your money.
We want money.
Do you know
couldn't
the-
tell?
You know the conversion rate, the American dollar to the Australian dollar. I'm rich as fuck
Oh
down
my
here.
god. How many hearts would break? How many kids' hearts would break if there was like a leaked recording of Stu McKenzie just being like, you won't believe what these kids will pay
These kids will buy all of our shit.
for some shitty record?
They'll buy anything.
We made it years ago.
It sucks. I
It
made it in my
sucks.
bedroom with my asshole
Yeah.
open.
But yeah, I like this song a lot.
There's our clip for this.
Yeah.
yeah,
podcast.
there it is. Yeah, another King Gizzard clip. But yeah, I like this one a lot. I like that he uses he's mixing it up with his delivery. He's not just doing the low key stuff. Reminds me of the same weird experimental stuff off of Atrocity. You know, classic Danny here, I think.
I
Yeah.
think he's got like 3 voices that he
Yeah, he
he
kinda
goes between
does.
because he's got his like really low, downtrodden, like chill voice,
Yeah.
and then there's like the medium one that was on the song prior, and
Yeah.
then there's like the fuck you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm at the top of my register, like on Tantor and
Yeah.
the other single,
Yeah.
The- the-
Jenn's Terrific
the
Vacation.
Detroit one,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he really explores both ends of the spectrum on this
Yeah.
record. Let's move on. Next track, Y.B.P. featuring Bruiser Wolf. Do you know who Bruiser Wolf is?
Is this the one you talked about?
Yeah, I love this
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Favorite song on the record.
Absolutely.
Wasn't aware of Bruiser Wolf until I heard him on here.
I feel like I had heard the
He
name
sounds like
before,
he's the old school rapper.
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, dude.
He I think he's from Detroit, and I looked. He had an album a few years ago that Danny featured on.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I mean this song's awesome. I mean Danny's flow over this beat is like perfect.
Yeah.
He's just so locked in.
Yeah, it's
like-
so smooth. I love the instrumental.
So
that
good.
just very low key, just that.
That's a
Just
great,
over and
that's
over
a great
again.
example of
Yeah.
like a looping instrumental that isn't
That
annoying.
works. Yeah.
And I think this is the best hook too.
Yeah, I think so too. Young, black, and poor,
Yeah.
being raised in Detroit. It goes into another theme of the record. Dude.
He does sound like, my name is JJ and I'm on
Yeah.
a podcast.
And I'm here to say,
Yeah, it's like a mix between E40 and like Curtis Blow. You know?
Yeah, dude, it's
like
awesome.
basketball is my
Yeah.
favorite sport.
Yeah, it's like it's just the old wise, like the guy that walks around town and like you ever see that Key and Peele skit?
Yeah.
Of, like the old guy who has like the nuts and he keeps like trying to school everybody.
Yeah, he's like DeMayer in Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love the way this song is produced. It has like that like slight distortion on the vocals. The hook, I feel like this is a good example of low-key hook, but it pops a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole song kind of has like an older school vibe to it.
Well, there's not much to it. It's
Yeah.
just this loop
Yeah.
the whole time, and they drop it out occasionally and just spit. Yeah, this is like his low key voice.
When the beat comes out again.
I love that's just
cool.
so old.
That's cool.
That drum beat is amazing.
Yeah, like the way
Yeah.
the like bass drum sounds
Yeah.
and the snare.
Sounds like
real
it's coming
fat.
through an AM radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put The Alchemist up there with some of the greats in terms of producers.
I don't know if he produced this song.
Oh.
I know he did Tantor, but
A
I'm
lot
Oh,
not.
I
of this
didn't
shit
know.
sounds like The
Yeah.
Alchemist's work.
Yeah, the Alchemist is really good.
I
He's
think
really good. His work with like Action Bronson is really sick.
Yeah.
And, like,
the only other producer I know on this record was Quelle Chris,
Okay.
who I'm not that familiar with his stuff. I think he does his own records. I'm pretty sure, but I can't remember. I feel like I keep getting him mixed up with somebody else. But yeah, love this song.
Yeah.
Thought the Bruiser Wolf feature was one of the best I've heard all year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first time I've ever heard Michigan get called the Murder Mitten, which I'm into.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
We need one for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The
Pipe in
redneck
Pennsylvania.
rectangle.
Oh.
That is awesome. Let's move on. Here's the second single, Jenn's Terrific Vacation.
This is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Off the album.
I love that sample from Goody Mob Self Therapy. That.
Oh, is that where it's from?
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Little
that.
CeeLo Green
Yeah,
on you.
CeeLo, dude.
The video for this is very,
you.
very cool.
It's awesome.
It's great, yeah.
Really
They
cool.
Take his grandma's tooth out.
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
holy
Getting
really-
grabbed at by all the hands.
Like the photography is so cool. It's like this fisheye lens.
Yeah.
It's all fucked up looking, black and white.
He has really weird music videos. You ever see the one for Ain't It Funny?
No.
It's the one that Jonah Hill did.
Jonah
right?
Hill directed
Where it's like
it. It's like the
Full
Cosby
House.
Show. Yeah, Full
Yeah.
House.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like begging for help in it, and like,
Yeah.
people just keep like laughing at him.
the one for Tantor. He's just like covered in like.
Covered in computers.
Yeah, like you went to Comp USA in 03 and just started like
He
gluing
went to like
shit
an
down.
e-waste recycling fest and just took everything, glued it to himself.
This song, you may not agree with me, but for some reason I can't identify why it reminds me of This Is America by Childish Gambino. And like the not dissonant, but like the weird off-kilter production and stuff. I don't know. And kind of a little bit the subject matter.
I guess I could see where you're coming from. I mean, This Is America's feels more like industrial to me, and this feels more like classic
Yeah.
hip hop. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I love this song though. Some of these lines are like so tragically hilarious.
Yeah.
Like now it like just having like now it's a Whole Foods
Yeah.
in your refrain is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that was like a bone that Pitchfork like said.
dude.
Pitchfork, dude. That's what they put the
Yeah.
pigs over there,
Pitchfork.
dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, they said like, can we write a song about gentrification without the word Whole Foods in it? It's like,
Come on.
Shut up.
shut up.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean,
it literally like I
We'll
think
say Starbucks instead. How about that?
He says Starbucks. He says Whole Foods. He says organic garden.
and it's
dog
also
park.
true. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
like the
Yeah.
Whole Foods they built in Pittsburgh is literally over public housing. Like, they demolished the public housing
Yeah.
building and
What do
built
you
a Whole
want him
Foods.
to do?
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing too that I think separates Danny from a lot of people. It's like he can make like a fun party song or something like that. He can make stuff that's like introspective.
Yeah.
And then he can also do like social issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it never comes off corny or forced. And it's always from his point of view.
Yeah.
It's never like you know, I don't think This Is America is like a bad song, but I don't feel like it doesn't have a very strong point of view either.
Yeah, it's
Like-
just like very general. Where
Yes.
this is a very specific thing, and he's kind of he's just going at it as like a matter of fact thing. It's just
Yeah.
like there's nothing I can do. Like
This Is America. I don't think would be where it became without that music video that was accompanied
Yeah,
by it.
which
I
is
mean,
a great music video.
insane.
Yeah, it's great.
But I also think this music video is just as good, but it's more artsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
And the and like the way it ends, you kind of almost feel that like like what you're gonna do. It's
Yeah.
like every piece of it's being pulled and ripped away.
yeah. He's
It's
literally just being like, "What are you gonna do?" Like he's really not taking like. I mean, you know what his
Stance.
opinion is,
Yeah.
obviously,
But
he's not really taking it in the song with any of the lyrics. He's just like, now like that used to be a fucking crack house. Now it's a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
yeah,
Like,
and
it's-
it's, like, people can't afford the rent. They're
yeah,
moving out.
exactly.
Like, I remember the one time it was when we were in Austin. We were playing a show, and this punk band was on stage, and they were from Seattle, and like, this song is about gentrification and how it's ruining our like city and stuff like that. And there was like this white girl just there for like South by Southwest, and she was just like, "But I like gentrification." I was like, Jesus Christ.
Like, do you know what it is?
Yeah, I like people
I
being
like
driven from their homes so I can have nicer waffles.
Yeah, so I can go day drinking.
Yeah, exactly. So me and my friends can ride on a fucking wagon that we all like pump with our feet.
so I can have my bridal shower
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more important than your childhood memories in your home or anything like that.
Yeah.
I
Shout
love
out to the.
gentrification.
Never mind.
I remember you telling me that story.
I was like
Yeah.
mind blowing, and she was like looking at her friends like, right?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like more Starbucks?
Yeah.
Great song, love it.
Yeah, I love that song.
It feels so like what I was saying before. It just feels like so hopeless, but it's still a fucking banger of a song. One of his
production-
best tracks in.
The
years,
production
I
is
think.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool because it's like very hi-fi, but also like tastefully mixes in a lot of different sounds, like
Yeah.
that whisper, like "What you gonna do?"
Mhm.
Like just feels like it's in the back of your head
I love
or
it.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Let's move on. This is one of my favorite tracks.
Love
off the
this
record.
song.
Yeah, the instrumental is just so, like, it's so gentle. You know what I mean?
Has that like real airy kind of
Yeah.
like
It reminds me a little bit of Real Friends, Kanye.
oh yeah,
It has that
bit.
kind of like
Sure.
shimmery, like low key instrumental. And Danny is really, really, I don't know. Like I would use the word low key again.
Yeah.
He's very like
Chill.
subtle. Yeah, he's very chill on this song.
Yeah, and it's like very like remorseful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it also he was writing this during a breakup.
Yeah,
I love that the chorus takes those lines from Scarface's verse in "Mind Playing Tricks on Me."
oh yeah.
Yeah, where it's like,
I didn't even make that connection. Yeah.
oh no, this is Celibate. Isn't it?
This is
Celibate.
Celibate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought Down With You was
Celibate,
next.
Oh, you're talking about the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
the
Down
other
With You.
sad one. Yeah.
Did we skip Down With It? Because that's next.
Oh shit, we skipped
Nice,
down. With
dude.
Okay. This is one of my favorites. I like Celibate a lot as well.
it. Jeez, such a mean face.
Nice, dude.
Let's go with down with it. This is the one, probably the most like down in the dumps bummer song on the record. That's about
Yeah.
a breakup. Yeah.
But I do love this song too.
Yeah,
I
the
love
synth's
that.
great.
I love that like heavy synth that comes in.
Yeah.
Synths kind of sound like something that the Weeknd would do.
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like an 80s-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the one that's definitely about a breakup.
Yeah.
He's talking about I think he was married and got divorced. I didn't know that, but it's about his divorce, I guess, and how he had his wife but he thought that she was trying to get his money or something like that, so he broke up with her. And he's remorseful for the breakup. He's very honest on this song.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, over the whole record, he shares stuff that you're like, damn.
Yeah.
This is the part that he takes from. Yeah, that's from
I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, he cuts out a couple lines in the middle. I think in Scarface's verse is but she was just a bitch to me, and it's he took that out, put the lines together.
I didn't know that. That gives a whole new. See the research.
There you go.
Does matter.
Hey, Blinkheads, don't worry.
We were
did
wrong.
it.
I was on this one.
We weren't wrong.
Even though I started talking about a song that wasn't playing.
And I was like, yeah,
right.
So I remember that.
Yeah, we're valid and smart.
Yeah. I love this. This is one of my favorite ones on the record. One of my favorite instrumentals too. I just love how remorseful he sounds. It's you can really hear the regret. It sounds like he just they played the beat. He went into a vocal booth just with nothing, you know what I mean? And he just started talking, and it just happened to rhyme and be a good flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's you can hear the vocal fry and I don't know. It's just very personal.
Yeah, and he does a really good job of matching what subject matter he's going to tackle on the record with the instrumental.
Yeah.
Because they do vary a good bit. And this is the perfect instrumental for a lovelorn sort of downer jam.
Yeah.
It's a downer jam.
It's a downer. It's a bummer. Let's move on. So now here is Celibate. This is one of my favorite instrumentals on the record.
Yeah,
that reminds me of Real Friends. Yeah.
And the chorus has that really cool wordplay.
I was just gonna say
celibate and
sell a
Celibate,
bit.
yeah.
He makes 4 words out of 1 word. That kind of put my brain in a blender a little bit.
Is this the one where he says, "Get attention like 2 hoes kissing"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
sick line.
Yeah.
And the feature on this is really good by Mike.
Mike, I don't know who Mike is.
Who's Mike?
No, I don't know either. But I think that it shows his headspace for the record as well. The last record had Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
Tons of features.
Was Be Real on? No, Be Real was on Atrocity Exhibition. But the last one definitely had Run the Jewels, and I forget who else, but bigger names.
Yeah.
And it seems like he pulled from the next crop of up and coming rappers that he knew their vibe fit a specific vibe.
Yeah.
Bruiser Wolf, nobody could have did better than Bruiser
that.
Wolf on
Right.
that.
There's 2 features on the whole thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you see rap records that come out now, and every song is featuring somebody.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's all for streams and stuff. But
Last record had JPEG Mafia and Blood Orange on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Blood Orange.
And then Atrocity had Be Real.
A bunch of
and then,
people. Yeah. But yeah, I loved Mike's the way he comes in. It's it's not mixed well. It sounds really distorted. And,
you can
clippy.
hear his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's it sounds very really slacker and lazy. He just woke up and then he starts getting real fucking amped.
Yeah, he does. It picks up over time.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like it's all one take. There was no punch-ins or anything because it just feels like this stream of consciousness.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I think he picked rappers who are can match his idiosyncrasy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's weird. Mike. I never heard Mike. I guess if you don't know him, you would think he just he's just this, you know. He just sounds like he just rolled out of bed or something, and then he starts getting real into it. But the instrumental really never gets louder or picks up that much. It's just him driving the song to the end.
Mike has one 0.3 million listeners, so maybe maybe he's more established.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, we just don't know what the fuck we're talking
this
about.
Mike guy, I don't know.
We don't do any research.
No, we don't do the research. We take the album for what it is.
Yeah.
None of this research shit.
Come on, no.
Yeah. But yeah, I like this one a lot.
Make sure to let us know how little research we did.
Yeah, make sure to tell us about the research.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Shakedown.
This is the one that I zone out on.
Yeah, this one it kind of gets to the point where you would like to maybe hear another
vibe.
Ripper. Yeah.
It's
not bad though.
I do like the hook.
It's very 90s
R&B.
90s R&B. That's classic, dude. Yeah. It's a little bit repetitive. Not bad though. I mean, I like it as a vibe, you know.
Yeah. Similar, like this kind of reminded me of like towards the end of Triple X, like having a string of songs that are more like down key.
Yeah.
That seems like a very like deliberate choice to like once we hit this section of the record, it's going to be like mellow throughout.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. I think this is probably the weaker of the songs we've heard.
Ones, yeah.
But I still like it. I still think it works within the record.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I since listening to this album, like I've listened to it a couple times. There's not one I like skip ever.
No.
Like I would still listen to this while listening to the entire record. It's worth the whole listen. Let's move on though. This is Hanami. This one kind of had the same. I get kind of similar vibes from just, I guess, the lyric and delivery standpoint from the other one. Like, it's a little bit more repetitive. The flow is a little bit same the whole time.
Yeah, this one and the one prior kind of blend together.
Yeah, a little bit.
On my first couple listens, yes, but the lyrics on this one started to stick with me more.
The lyrics are great.
Oh, this is the time
after time. Yeah.
That's my least favorite hook.
I hate it. I think it sucks. It's time to time.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much.
Time.
But I love the verses. Because like he's talking about like it's not fun anymore. What do I do? I still need a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like he's like really talking about being disillusioned
with
music in general.
How it feels like it's punching a clock, even though it's like he's supposed to be free. Like
it's supposed
he's really
to be
not
fun.
Free. Yeah.
And it's like, and then he like arrives at like what else can I do?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like just feeling so like I'm out of options. Like this is the only thing I have. But I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a depressing thing.
Is that how you felt near the end of your music career?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is all I got.
I did relate to this record. I mean, it sounds insane to be like, I know what Danny Brown's going through.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But like,
I think Danny Brown would have packed it in a lot earlier if he was in Little Italy days.
And like, dude.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking serious?
I have to.
Well, yeah, we're the same. Yeah.
I'm paying to play this gig in front of 4 Italian men with their guts out.
Yeah, and then not get the $200 I was promised.
Sick.
Having to pay my own sound guy $200.
Little shittily days.
Yeah, dude, awful. But anyway, actually, though, yes. Like if you like quit music, if you like don't find an avenue with something that you're doing, like I understood a lot of the lyrics that he was talking about on this record. It's just like, like I could quit. I wasn't doing it for a fucking.
Yeah, it wasn't supporting
it. Wasn't my career.
But that does bring like you get the whole album kind of it starts on this note and then you like further extrapolates it here. It's like this is my dream. Yeah. But it's not anything of what I thought it would be or wanted it to be, and it's
just
work.
a job. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
But then he also like. It's interesting. He has all these feelings, but like he's also incapable of like putting out something that doesn't feel like genuine,
earnest,
and like trying to strike new ground and stuff like that.
He's an honest artist. Like I feel like he probably would never be able to put out a record that is not like so him and what he's feeling at the time, which is why he named the album 40 and named Triple X 30. Like he's probably incapable of putting out anything that's not just like his truth at the moment, which is why he's probably fucking struggling to like, you know, he's probably just like, I can't make fucking happy pop shit if it's, you know, if it sucks to do this.
I think it's. Do you want to move on?
No, sorry, you can go ahead.
I think it's relatable for an artist or a creative at any level. Like, there's different ways of getting knocked down and feeling invalidated. And so I think that's kind of the main point that he's speaking to, which is why, you know, you've made the moves you have, and like, you know, Evan and I still playing and stuff. It's like, but there's plenty of moments in our bands or bands that we used to be in or whatever. We're like, what the fuck? Fuck this.
I mean, it's
exactly.
a constant stream of
It's
indignity.
always.
It's like, just like, there's always shit at every level that takes the J out of joy for you. When, like, his main point is, bitch, this is supposed to be fun. You know?
It's supposed to be like the dream. Like, I literally fucking made it big. And now it's not the same as
drag.
it was.
Yeah.
That's gotta be rough, man. Like, it's gotta be rough to like make it, have that moment probably years ago of being like, I got a record deal. This album is selling well. It's picking up critically, and people are listening to it, and like people are pumped up for you, and like it just kind of maybe never surpasses that. Like, you just kind of are always at that level of like hype and sales and whatever the fuck. You just like, it never gets to be Drake or Taylor Swift or something.
And it, like, I was bummed that, like, when we were looking at the releases, it looked like he was pretty, like, wide open. Like, like, he was going to be, like, one of the, it was, like, him and Dolly Parton were the two people dropping that day. And then Drake announces he's dropping an album, like, 2 days before. And then Andre 3000 is dropping the Flute album, and it's just like, come on, man.
That is.
I know,
I didn't even think about that. That fucking sucks.
I mean, you know, Drake's gonna eat up all the attention because anything he does,
everyone loves Drake.
And then,
for some reason.
like, even for the artsy crowd who are into maybe something more like, you know, artistic,
flouty,
they're gonna go for the Andre 3000 coming back after 20 years to, you know, play a flute for, you know, an hour and a half.
87 minutes,
exactly. And if you are into artsy shit, you could go to this and be completely fulfilled. If you like hip hop and, you know, artsier hip hop that's more trendy, like, you could go to this, come away being like, that was great. But instead, you're probably gonna listen just the Andre 3000 album because Pitchfork gave it an 8.5 best in music. Couldn't even listen to fucking 3 seconds of it.
I thought it was fine, but definitely not like. I mean, it's, you know, it's just an ambient record. Like, this is much more interesting and compelling in every way.
It's
like,
every way,
every single way.
Is this the last song?
This is the last song, Bass Jam. Love the instrumental on this again. I mean, it's
and
just
like the nostalgic.
Yeah,
vibe.
it's very nostalgic. It's sad in that way that he's kind of like looking back. It makes you think like, damn, is he gonna release another record at some point? Like, who knows? You know?
Yeah.
Because now he's like 42 years old. If age is like a big thing for him, then maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just be like a feature guy for forever. But it's a shame because he's still making fucking amazing music. I mean, I thought this album was. We could just go right to the closing argument.
Let's go, dude.
I thought this album was amazing. I haven't come back to a record like this all year, like in the same pattern that I have. Like, I keep wanting to hear these again. Nothing's really gotten old for me. I know it only came out a week ago, but like, my attention span fucking sucks anymore. So it's like, usually I get like 3 days and I'm like, oh yeah, that one. But like, this has like still been on my mind. I relate to this record in a lot of ways. I love the instrumentals. I love his performances. I think he did a good job, even though it's mostly low key and I wasn't expecting that. And I like his, you know, wilder delivery. I still love the low-key delivery, and I think he did a good job of putting, you know, some bangers in there too, to split up the record. I think the low-key ones stand out more, honestly. Like, my favorite tracks are definitely Y.B.P. and Celibate and Wit It and probably the title track, and I feel like I'm missing one. But I still like Jane's Terrific Vacation and Tantor and like Ain't My Concern. I don't know. I don't have a ton of negative things to say about it. I think it's just an honest fucking record. Great instrumentals, great delivery. Love the themes. Love his flow. The features were great. wasn't bloated. 11 tracks. I'm feeling an 8 out of 10.
Should I go?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This isn't my kind of rap, like I said at the beginning. I'm not much of a rap guy in general overall, but there is stuff I listen to, but it's generally more in like the pop, refrainy, singable direction. But I was going to give this a lower score just because there wasn't much that stuck out to me. You know, I suck at listening to lyrics. Lyrics are always the last thing I ever listen to in music, period.
You know what the tubs are doing.
Yeah, dude.
No, it's not tubs. It's like what the
It's
music...
got the best fills.
It's like the shit that what it makes me feel like
melody
and shit, right? And so I was originally going to give this a lower score, but I really started, as I listened to it multiple times, to appreciate like and what we kind of talked about, like the message, ironically, the messaging and the like the statement that the album makes for him as an artist and the industry in general and shit like that. It's kind of it's very honest, like Nate said, and very brave. Well, not, I don't know, brave, I guess a little bit, because like he could just like sell out and make, you know, something that probably would bring him a bag, but he's like, one of you guys said like he might be incapable of making something he fully doesn't believe in, which is cool. And also hip hop is just such a fucking like, it's either like one of two worlds. It's like the world led by Kendrick Lamar and like, you know, the artsy hip hop with Tyler the Creator and Anderson .Paak and whoever you want to call it, that's like, you know, using real instruments and shit. And then there's like the trap end and the shit that like I almost detest at times, most of the time, that I can't really even listen to or take seriously. And I am always drawn to the guys that are doing it like that way, the like the musical way. The musical way, as opposed to the like flexing and just like laptop way. And so I really do respect what this is. It's not my kind of thing, so I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good record. I think I still like stuff like XXX and Atrocity Exhibition more. But as like an artistic move and like a holistic piece of work from front to back, I think it's excellent. Yeah. I mean, to be able to put out something like Scaring the Hose and this within like 6 months of each other shows a level of artistic range that I don't know is like matched in hip hop, really. Yeah. I love that he like tackles getting older, which is not something many musicians talk about at all. Mm-mm. And a lot of times I'm always puzzled by that, because musicians' work as they get older tends to become less interesting. Mm-hmm. And they never really broach like the things in their life that are happening. Like, you know, it's like nothing but a good time forever. Right. That's humiliating.
The Foghat's talking about getting older, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the interesting thing too that just reminded me I wanted to bring up before. It's interesting that he is clearly very focused on his age and like how he's going to keep doing it as he gets older. When you listen to his delivery, that wild, quirky delivery that he has, he sounds more youthful than anyone in rap. Yeah. Like, you would hear a Danny Brown song if you knew nothing about him and being like, this is like a 26-year-old dude who's like just coming up. And to hear a guy that like has that much energy still, like still clearly on this record, it's like he shouldn't have to be worried about that stuff, because he's clearly, you know, he's just an artist. Yeah. But he is, and it's like clearly wearing on him. It is interesting to hear someone like tackle it, you know.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's almost never like, we listened to the Blink-182 album and it was like there was a few things that you're like, okay, they're kind of talking about getting older, but for the most part, it's like we're still 23 and skate, and it's like that's not that interesting.
No, it's not.
This is much more interesting to me. Somebody like really grappling and tackling the things that are happening in their life, and being like, you know, having the guts to do it when they know that there's going to be an audience there to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's relatable as fuck.
Yeah,
Very much so.
Kind of reminds me. Somebody else mentioned this too, but it does kind of remind me of like Jay-Z's 444, like a little more like stripped back, more mature.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what he would do next from here. It's kind of like, I don't know if I would be as big of a fan if he like stayed in this like somber lane or like, but he's proven every time out that he can do something interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to see wherever he goes from here. But I think I really liked. I'm going to give it an 8.2. One of my favorites of the year.
Definitely one of my favorites of the year as well. And we're landing on a 7.5 on this one.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
It's better than Pitchfork.
I think that's a good score.
That's it's full 1 point higher than Pitchfork.
It's a full 1 point higher than the 6.5 that Pitchfork gave us.
Sorry,
that's
I guess I landed on the same score as Pitchfork.
You
you
wrote
did.
the Pitchfork review, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You didn't like that Whole Foods mention.
Yeah, fuck that.
Can we hear one song without the whole food?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they said that. But yeah, no, definitely one of my favorites of the year. Didn't expect it to be. I mean, I wasn't really anticipating this until maybe a couple weeks out. I was like, oh, I didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah.
Danny Brown, I guess, was at the forefront of everyone's mind this year because of Scaring the Hose.
And yeah, I think I wasn't as excited because Scaring the Hose had come out and it had like scratched the like Danny Brown wild crazy guy itch.
Sort of. I mean, it did. I felt like I liked Scaring the Hose a lot. But it is a JPEG Mafia record.
Especially when it gets weirder.
Yeah.
Like, because there is some, like, really weird sections in it.
There's great Danny bars on it, but it's so shrouded in fucking, like, noise and fucking experimental samples and clips. And it's like a Death Grip. I mean, JPEG Mafia and Death Grips have always kind of, like, had a sort of a similar thing going on. And Danny Brown, I like him better when he has great production. Yeah. That's not that experimental, and he's just like, like bangers, like Smoking and Drinking. Like that's the Danny Brown you want to hear. So
and what's cool about Danny Brown too is even when he's talking about like drugs and there's a lot of stuff about drugs and stuff on this record.
Yeah.
Always has been. He always is talking about the other side of it too.
Yeah.
It's never like even in Smoking and Drinking, which is like this hype party song. He's talking about like I have these problems in my face. I ignore them every day. Yeah. It's like that's why I smoke and drink.
Yeah, there's the whole second verse of that song is about how he shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
like there's always a level of like guilt in all of his like drug songs that you can feel.
Yeah,
it's not just like sorry for party rocking or anything like that.
LMFAO.
Yeah, it's not anything like that. It's not nothing but a good time.
And I think that's what that's what separates him from his contemporaries. I think that's why anytime that he puts something out, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I love this record. Go listen to it if you haven't yet. Quaranta, Danny Brown. We're giving it an IQMB 7.5.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We need some clip animation.
Yeah, we need that graphics package.
Go check out Danny Brown. I hope you enjoyed this review. It's not the funny guys that we always are, but that's why you go to the Patreon and watch the other reviews and other episodes too. But this is like the first record we reviewed that we're just like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It felt nice.
It felt nice.
It felt nice not to like trying to pull jokes out of nothing so that we have something to talk about. Where I could talk about like, wow, I actually really appreciated what this guy did. Remind me why I like music and not every day where I'm like, I hate this playlist. I hate music.
It was a nice time.
I hate myself.
Yeah.
Well, considering it was between this and Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't.
When I saw that runtime was 2.5 hours, I was like, yeah, no,
absolutely not. I didn't even listen to that.
No, why would you?
Yeah.
I want to hear Night Moves. I want to hear Dolly Parton's version of Night Moves.
I want to hear the Miley Cyrus feature on Night Moves.
Yeah.
If there is one.
Ridiculous.
I don't know.
No, they do Wrecking Ball together.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
oh,
it's
great.
ridiculous.
But go listen to Danny Brown, Quaranta. It's an excellent fucking record, one of the best of the year. Go check it out, and thank you for watching the show. Tune in next time. Goodbye. Thank you.